All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Masters of the Universe Origins Deluxe Snout Spout. Yeah, this has been a figure that I've been excited about for a little while now. Pretty much ever since the Origins line came out, I've been thinking about the possibility of this figure because I was while I was born in the 90s, and so I didn't have any of the original Masters of the Universe toys when they came out. I actually did have an original Snout Spout that I found at a yard sale, and I just absolutely adored it. Didn't know anything about it, but I just loved the idea of this metal robot elephant man. I just thought it was a really cool toy. Promptly broke it, lost all the pieces, and but I do have a bit of a sentimental attachment to Snout Spout's design. When we got the first images of Origin Snout Spout and they showed him looking like this, I was so sad because I was like really excited to get a new version of Snout Spout, and I just did not like the look of the new head here. But luckily, being a deluxe figure, he does have an additional head that is more based on his original vintage toy, and this is really more the direction I was wanting this figure to go. So it's nice that it's got the options. It's got, this head is a little bit more based on like the animation design with the kind of like weird sort of like flat face with the eyes right in the middle there, and then obviously the tusks, which the original one doesn't have. And it looks okay for what it is. It's just not the head sculpt that I wanted. But yeah, it's okay. In terms of articulation, obviously pretty typical Origins articulation. The head is on that double ball joint, so you get a little bit of wiggle, move back and forth. The trunk here actually can rotate, and then it's got a separate hinge there. So if you want, you can have it like that, or if you rotate it around and have it pointing a bit forward, that I think also looks good. It's a bit of an awkward shape, so it's either kind of sticking straight down or sticking straight forward. Even if I liked this face design a little bit more, I still think that the trunk maybe should have been a little bit longer, maybe, or had more joints in it. I'm not a huge fan, because like right now how it looks is it looks like, and I don't think that it actually has this functionality, but it looks like it's designed as like a piece that they can hold, but it's actually a little bit too thick for that. So I don't know. But other than that, pretty standard Origins articulation. The shoulders have the hinge out to the side, and then obviously that swivel at a bit of an angle there. Bicep swivel, bend at the elbow there, that obviously because of all the muscles doesn't get a full 90. Wrist swivel, and then a bit of a wrist hinge there. Waist cut, hips can go forward, back, out to the side. Got a thigh swivel at the knee itself, about 90 degrees of bend at the knee. Has that boot cut, and then the ankles can tilt forward, and then have that that rotation that is tied to the tilt itself. And luckily with him, because he's got kind of, it does, the boots do a little bit conform to the shape of the shins here, but it's a little bit less descript, so you can still kind of, give him an ankle tilt and then rotate that bit without making it look too weird. But yeah, pretty standard Origins articulation here. In terms of accessories, other than the head, which we'll talk about in a bit, he of course comes with his axe here. I don't know if it was like this on the original Snout Spout, I can't remember, but the handle of it is kind of at a weird angle here, like it sticks out to the side. So I don't know really which hand it's designed to look better in. Like you have it like that, which I think looks okay, but I think it looks a little bit better in his left hand because it's it centers the axe a little bit more with his arm. I don't know. It's kind of weird either way. I sort of wish the handle was just in the middle, but I think that works well enough. And then if you don't want to use the actual gimmicky one, he does come with a separate kind of tank here to fill out the look of this mode here. You can just take this little clasp here and loop it over his armor just like that to give him his water tank, which obviously this one doesn't actually do any real water effects, but it's a good look nonetheless. If you just want an action figure-y version of Snout Spout, then that's what he looks like. But personally, unfortunately, I wish I get why there's not, but I sort of wish there was a way to detach this so I could just have this head with this tank. But if I had to choose, I think I'm still going to pick this way just because the head looks so much better. But you have to take the tank off, obviously take the head off here at the ball joint, and we can just pop the new head on just like that, and then latch on the new backpack. And if you're unfamiliar with the gimmick of this figure, basically his snout can spout. Basically, this is just a water gimmick where you've got this kind of rubbery backpack here. If you stick his nose into water, I'm not going to show it off just because my background's made out of foam core and I don't want to get it all wet, but you just stick his snout in some water, squeeze this to fill it up, and then when you press it, it'll shoot out water, which is pretty cool. But either way, I think even without using the gimmick, I just really prefer the look of him like this, just as a standard action figure. I love the detail on the head sculpt so much more than the one that's a little bit more animation accurate, because this one doesn't have all the black picking it out. The eyes are a little bit further apart and aren't, like weirdly flat on the face, I guess. And, maybe he could have used some tusks, but I think it's fine. And the trunk, I just think, even though it's not posable at all, it just looks so much better than the other one, in my opinion. The backpack, I like the look of the backpack itself a little bit less than the smaller one, but I do also kind of like the look of the tubing kind of going through. I think it kind of, makes him look a little bit cooler, like he's this I guess his character is he's like a firefighter, right? So he uses his elephant trunk to put out the fires and then has an axe to kind of chop down doors and stuff like that, which is a neat idea. I just really like the idea of an elephant firefighter. I just think it looks really funny. But yeah, no, in terms of comparisons, first and foremost, here he is with Origins, He-Man, and Skeletor. You don't need your staff, that's fine. And then here he is with Masterverse, He-Man, and Skeletor, just so you can see what he looks like with them. Obviously, a bit shorter than they are. Really fits much better in with the Origins figures, as he ought to, because he is one. In terms of his new pieces or whatever, obviously the head is new. I'm pretty sure the armor piece is new, and I'm pretty sure the forearms and the bottom legs are new. I don't know if these boots have been used on anyone else yet, or if these maybe these have, I'm not sure, but either way, not quite the same. It's just like the typical He-Man body. And then the waist section, I think, is also new. But yeah, no, pretty good, all things considered. But yeah, there's not really a ton else to say about this figure. I mean, like with all Origins figures, he's a pretty standard looking, Origins action figure with a lot of the same parts. But man, if I never got another Origins figure in my life, I think I'd be satisfied, because this guy is really the one that I've been kind of waiting for ever since I started collecting the Origins line, just because I do have that sentimental attachment to the original toy. And it would be great to get a Masterverse version of Snout Spout too, where he's more, I guess, realistic looking, as realistic as a robot elephant man can look. But I just really love the look of the old toy, and I think that the vintage head for me really pops. I mean, the animation head is good too, but just doesn't quite do it for me. Also, something I've noticed is that one of the ears, I think, maybe isn't glued in well enough, so it comes off, because the other ear doesn't feel like it comes off. So it feels like it's supposed to stay on, but that does fall off every now and again. It stays in there relatively fine, and I'm sure it would be fine to just put a dab of glue on it and stick it in there. But either way, it's nice to have these options. I think that, with some of the deluxe figures, I'm like, oh, I wish that they just did this as a regular one, so that, and I could live without the extra head or whatever. But I think with the way that he is, and the whole huge backpack and the gimmick like that, they probably would have had to make him a deluxe figure regardless. I don't think that he probably would have fit into the budget of a normal figure, I would think. So it always seemed like a figure that would be a deluxe figure, so the extra head and the extra tank is really just a bonus on there. And with the attachment that I have to the character, I'm well happy to pay the little extra price to get him. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to him. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Masters of the Universe Origins Deluxe Snout Spout.